Chuckers, and welcome to Quirky Crafts and Collectibles. I'm Pandora Box, and today I'd like to show you some quirky crafts. And I thought I would show you this pin cushion that I have made, so you can put your pins in, and also a container where you can put items in as well, and that screws in together just like that. Because we're always losing our bits and pieces, so I thought I'd show you how to make these. So, without further ado, let's start. So to create our pin cushion holder, here are some items that you're going to require. Firstly, you're going to need a tin with a lid, screw on. You're going to need some fabric, of course, also some beads, pearls. You'll need some lace, some stuffing, and also you'll need some stock card, and of course your tools, scissors, sewing kit, and so on, and of course glue. So let's get started on creating our pin cushion holder case. Now we're going to be using some 3mm card and also 1.8mm card, and I'm going to be using this for the top and the bottom of the jar. Now what we're going to be doing, we're going to take the card, we're taking the 1.8mm and we trace the bottom around, and then we take the lid and place it on the 3mm and trace around, and just write top and bottom on the card so you know which is which. Very carefully you take your Stanley knife and we are going to cut very carefully around the circle. Now you may have to do this a few times until you get through, especially when you're doing the 3mm. And just to finish off the edges, just sand off with a nail file all the rough edges, just to make it nice and neat on both sides, and also you can also do the small thin one. Now that we've filed our bottom of the jar and also the top, we are now ready to start covering. Now once you've chosen your fabric, place your top circle and just lightly trace around the actual shape. Doesn't have to be perfect, just to give you an idea, and then we cut around that fabric. And that creates our circle, and put the top on top of the fabric, about the center. Now we're going to get our glue, and we're just going to apply glue to the card, spread it around, make sure you get every corner, every piece, and place on top of your fabric. If you have a roller, just roll the fabric through so it collects all the glue. Now with your scissors, just score each section, just so when we fold it over it's easier to glue it down. Now with the glue, just put it on the edge of the card and just smear it through, and what we're going to do now is fold the fabric over, and so it sticks down. Now if you want to make sure it stays, just get some clips and just clip them down. I like to put the clips in just until the glue dries, and I put that right round. Now with the help of Quilter's Little Helper's ruler, I like to get a nice straight edge, so I'm going to now create the actual cushion of the pin cushion. So I'm now working out about 5" about where my circles stay in the middle, so around about 5" will be good. So just mark off 5" and score that. And then we have a nice square. Now I've just cut the corners off, just to give it a bit of a radius corner, and now we're going to get our thread and we're going to create a thread stitch right round. And once you've created your stitching, pull tight, and then you should get a pocket just like this. Once you get your stuffing, just keep stuffing it up and keep holding it tight until all the stuffing is placed in. And once you've done that, you should have a nice cushion. And once you've done that, you want to put a few knots just to hold it down, and this now will be going to go on top of that cushion, and then we'll create a little button there. Now with your needle and thread, find your center, pull up, and you want to create a stay stitch right here. Go through, you want to take it to one side and come back up to the center again, and we're going to do this for all 4 sides, and pull tight. And always coming up from the center, holding it tight, and this will start creating your petals. Always keeping it nice and firm. Always finding your center. Keeping it nice and tight. And making sure the thread is in that center. Now you can use a thicker thread, like embroidery thread, if you like. It is stronger and it's thicker. Now I'm coming back down to the center, and now we're going to start creating our petals. Now from corner to center and pull tight. Now if it moves around, you can add a little loop underneath, and that'll hold that thread. So find your thread, find that center, and do a little loop, and that'll hold your petal there. And just keep holding it tight. And as you can see, you start creating your petal, and you do that to all 4 sides. And here you want to create a stay stitch so your thread doesn't get lost, and just keep pulling it through and keeping it nice and tight. I I put a little bead or a pearl in the center, and now we are going to apply our cushion to our top of our first 3mm board. Now unfortunately I forgot to record this part. I put my lace around and snipped the edges and glued down the bottom. So now we have our finished pink cushion. So once I've done that, I'm going to get some more of that lace and I'm going to apply that around the top just to give it a nice finish all around. And once I've done that, this is what it looks like on the top, and I folded the inside and hot glued the top. And now we're going to apply our fabric to the side of our tin. So I'm just applying some glue, just rubbing it through and just getting my fabric, and I'm going to now start applying my fabric to the tin. Make sure you're holding the corner tight and make sure it's nice and even, and firmly pull the fabric around and smooth it down, and pull it back and just add more glue as you go. Again, making sure you're covering all your areas. Smooth it down with your fingers if you like, and put your fabric nice and close to the seam for a nice finish. And you do this right round. Once you've applied your fabric, we're just going to get our scissors and just trim the bottom, so when we fold it folds in nicely with no creases. It's a little bit bulky at the moment, so we'll just trim some of the excess fabric so it won't be so bulky underneath when we apply our bottom. So now get your glue applied to the bottom of the tin, make sure it's covered all over, and then start folding your fabric inwards. Make sure it's quite firm and tight so there's no creases. Just like so. Now for this point we're going to use hot glue. Apply a good amount of hot glue on the bottom. Spread it right round. And this is where we apply our bottom, and this gives it a nice finish. Make sure it's nice and firm and it's sitting well. Now what I did end up doing is just trimming off the purple triangle on the lace, just because it was catching on the tin, so I just trimmed that nice and neat. And where the seam is, I'm just going to put a little bit of lace just to finish that off, and with a little bit of glue. And with the same lace, I cut it in half down the center, and just using a little bit of the purple and circles of the lace, I'm just going to finish that around the edge there. And with that completes our project. So we can screw that back on, the lace matches nice and neatly, and we have our finished product. There we have our pin cushion, nice and firm, so we can stick our pins in, and we can store things inside like your cotton. Easy as that. I hope you've enjoyed the little project that we've done, and it may serve a purpose for you. Well, I hope you've enjoyed me showing you how to make these quirky crafts, pin cushions and storage containers. So until next time, please give me a like, subscribe so you don't miss any of my programs, and I'll see you then. Chookers!